Travis Hunter, and behind the 5 pick where Jacksonville was, there were guys like Kelvin Banks, the Texas. There were 2 or 3 other tackles taken in the top 10. So there were like 3 tackles, right? Campbell, the revisionist history, if the Jaguars' offensive line stinks, they'll go, well, maybe they should have traded up to 2 and taken Campbell,
Right. I mean, yeah.
Right.
I kind of feel like that probably would have been the best thing to do, but it just feels like that was it was just an awkward spot to make that move and make that trade up.
Maybe. The other thing is, and Zach, you've been with me a long time. We've done a lot of broadcasts together, live and taped, and radio and streaming here. My philosophy on guests, and we get guests on a lot occasionally here. We're not a guest-heavy show. My philosophy on getting coaches and players over the years, I don't think coaches or players really say anything. If you ever want more proof of that, have you heard the local media with regard to Jaguar draft picks this past draft session, right? I've heard the coach from West Virginia about the big 3rd round offensive lineman. I've heard Lincoln Riley about dude, the coaches are never going to say anything. All they say is, man, this franchise, XYZ, they got to steal. This guy, every coach that comes on says their player that just got drafted is a steal. He a great player. Why even get him on, right? They're never going to give you the honest opinion, right?
Yeah, like the Spurrier he did after the one practice at South Carolina, where he basically did that version of that, right? Where the kicker missed everything, they missed every tackle. Yeah, I mean, it would be the day if someone went out there and took True Sermon and actually did that. But
so it really is nothing more than stir up your home fan base, because Coach Brown at West Virginia, what was he going to say about his offensive lineman that went in the 3rd round? Man, the Jaguars got to steal. He's the best. He was 1st round top. Well, why even have? They're never going to say. If they never say anything negative, obviously there's something negative to talk about. But if they never say it, why get them on? They're just wasting time, aren't they? Wasting air.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of just lobbing up softball questions and answers just for the sake of doing it. But I mean, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they just going to just say this guy stinks? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
They are.
But I mean,
to just say that.
You can almost write what they're going to say. If you hear coming up at 4:05, West Virginia head football coach Brown will be talking about Jaguars' 3rd round selection, Will Millips, or whatever his name is. I don't have his name.
Wyatt Millum?
Wyatt Millum. It was close. Will Millips, Wyatt Millum.
Will
right?
Millips,
but,
yeah, for sure.
But do you even need to hang around and listen? You know what the coach is going to say, right? Why am I giving you 8 minutes of my time? Because you know he's going to say, this guy should have went in the 1st round. This guy didn't give up a sack. This guy is a high value. Zach, I got better things to talk about than like ripping on soccer that we did yesterday. Anyway,
there's a ripping on soccer segment.
Yeah, we had a great. Yeah, we're gonna have it with you'll love it when Mike Freed comes in, our comedian here. In the second.
Oh, yeah, anyway, I'm looking forward to that.
Anyway, hey, I want to get one more topic out. I want to introduce it. And then we may go back to it as the show rolls out. There was a subtle headline yesterday, and we barely talked about it, but I think there are some real underlying issues that need to be discussed. Clemson, okay? Your hated Clemson Tigers. You're a South Carolina guy.
Those guys.
The Clemson Tiger football program yesterday announced that they now have a 12-year contract, home and home, with Notre Dame.
Yeah, right.
Okay, you saw that.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't get to get into it. I want to get into it today, and then certainly probably tomorrow with Brent Beard. But if you read between the lines, as I have, I think this is big. And I think this also involves Florida State. Here's where I'm going with this. It would not surprise me in the next several months, maybe the next year. I think Florida State will also announce a long-term series to play football with Notre Dame. And if you read the story about the Clemson Notre Dame, it's a 12-year, right? It's 12 years.
It is, yeah.
And here's where you have to read between the lines, and I think this is a big deal, and it involves Florida State. The story went on to say the 12-game contract, home and home, Clemson Notre Dame travels. And do you know what I mean by travels? And I'll fill it in. I'll fill it in. It travels, the contract, meaning it doesn't matter where Clemson is at. That contract, Clemson gets to play 12 games with Notre Dame over the next 12 years. If they're in the ACC, if they're independent, if they're in the Big Ten, if they're in the SEC. With that said, I think that is a great leverage point. Remember, Clemson and FSU are in the lawsuit with the ACC. And remember, that argument has just been shelved, basically, right? All they did was say two things. They said, when the next contract comes up in 5 years, and 5 years will be here before you know it. 5 years goes quick. And they also cut down the, what do you call it, the buyout, to get out of the grant of rights. That thing went, remember, the ACC was saying, well, FSU and Clemson, if you want to get out, it'll cost you $550 million. Well, that thing got knocked down to like $75 million, right? To me, FSU probably is talking to Notre Dame as well. And all of a sudden, maybe now, maybe within a year or two, that 5-year window is going to go quick. FSU and Clemson are going to be out of the ACC most likely in 5 years. It just got delayed. That's all it did, right? You remember how that played out the last couple months.
Oh, yeah.
What great leverage if you're FSU and Clemson. You can knock on the SEC's door, or you knock on the Big Ten's door and you go, hey, guys, there's probably going to be one more expansion in college football here in the next 20 years. There's going to be one more. Hey, SEC/Big Ten, either or. Clemson and FSU and Clemson, we're a package deal. And oh, by the way, we both have 10 to 12-year traveling contracts no matter where we land with Notre frickin' Dame, right?
Wow.
Notre frickin' Dame.
Yeah.
That's leverage, my man. You don't think the SEC would love to expand with Clemson and FSU if they both bring Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like that's kind of inevitable, right?
You don't think the Big Ten would love, if they're going to expand, say, wait a minute, we've never been able to get Notre Dame, but man, if we get 2 guaranteed games right out of the gate for 12 years with Notre Dame, I think this is a big deal, and it's a subtle deal with Clemson. I expect FSU to be probably right now working on a deal like that with Notre Dame so that FSU and Clemson, they go shop themselves as a tandem, and we're going to bring a boatload of Notre Dame football to your conference when they're playing at our place, and we're in your conference.
Yeah, I mean, it feels to me like, the college football landscape is obviously moving towards the 2 super conferences, Big Ten and SEC. And so
you would think.
I do feel that that's
it
happening.
It really needs to happen.
And it makes sense.
We'll change names, right? But you almost, Zach, I don't mean to cut you off, but we'll change names. I don't care if they call it the big SEC and the Big Ten. I don't care. But it should follow the NFL model. The NFL has 2 big leagues, right? They've got the NFC and they've got the AFC, and they have multiple divisions inside, but that's what it needs to do. But I think this, and I haven't seen anybody kind of break it down like I just did. I think that's a big deal. Clemson has a 12-year contract with Notre Dame football, and it travels. It specifically says, no, it's not like if Clemson goes to the Big Ten, that contract's null and void. No, it says it doesn't matter where Clemson's at. That contract is enforceable, and they're going to play. I think that is big, 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 big leverage for Clemson and FSU, knocking on the SEC's door and or knocking on the Big Ten door. I love it, and I love it because that's where college football needs to go.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, 100%. And it, like I say, it feels like it is inevitable, and so it would make sense for Clemson and FSU regionally, and they both have rivals already in the SEC.
Yeah.
So this makes a lot of sense. And to me, I mean, Notre Dame's going to try to stay independent
Sure they are.
for as long as they possibly
Sure they
can. But it seems eventually they would probably go to they just seem like Big Ten to me. But I don't know. They're developing these, I guess you call them relationships, business partnerships with these teams that would already be in this hypothetical SEC. Maybe they would one day join the SEC.
I think it's valuable if Clemson and FSU can, in tandem, if FSU cuts a Notre Dame deal, like Clemson just did, they go to the SEC and go, hey, man, at worst, you're going to have Notre Dame on your SEC schedule. They'll probably play Clemson at home one year and FSU on the road one year. And then FSU, right? We're going to deliver you Notre Dame at least once a year. Who knows how many other contracts Notre Dame has scheduled with the rest of your conference? Notre Dame may, I don't know, Notre Dame may have a 2038 home and home with Alabama. Well, then you say, we're going to deliver Notre Dame 2 times in your conference, 3 times. But consistently, we're basically bringing Notre Dame. You don't have them at all now. We're going to bring them over because we got these contracts with Notre Dame. I think it's a big leverage deal, especially if we turn around within a year or so and FSU announces. And I bet you FSU will.
Well, yeah, so
try to announce.
I didn't know if you were actually pulling this from. Had you actually seen a report? Because I see a report coming from SI.com, and I think I see it being confirmed by ESPN that their athletic director said that he has explored scheduling Notre Dame. And
Who's he?
This is from the FSU athletic director named Michael Alford.
I haven't seen that. Tell me about it.
This the article I'm seeing is from 5 hours ago from SI.com,
Nice.
and it basically just says that he is looking to explore. The exact quote says, "Today in college football, more than ever, it's important for strong brands to play strong brands. So that helps our brand as well as all the ones within the conference. And so they're looking to schedule more non-conference games, and they've reached out to Notre Dame."
Wow. Transparency, honest truth, I hadn't seen that, but that goes exactly with my description.
I mean, pretty much.
That goes exactly. All of a sudden, I think FSU will cut a deal like Clemson just did for a long-term home-and-home contract with Notre Dame. And then, if you're Clemson and FSU, you're already kind of joined together, right? They're in this lawsuit. They're going to get out of the ACC unless they run the ACC. Then if you're Clemson FSU, you go shopping conferences and say, hey, we not only are we a pretty good brand for you guys, right? We're bringing a bunch of games with Notre Dame. Notre Dame. That's big.
Yeah, about the singular biggest brand you can find in college football. I mean, there's a few others you can throw in there, but it's hard to find.
And, before people, I love when the fans out there's a big group of fans. College football, Notre Dame, they need to quit getting special treatment, blah, blah, blah. Well, don't blame Notre Dame. Blame college football. College football allows Notre Dame to do this, right?
Oh, yeah, and then they're allowed to do it because of
all college football needs to do is say, none of us are going to play Notre Dame, but nobody will ever do that because they want Notre Dame.
No, it's too big of a payday.
Too big of a payday.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to take it out of bounds. We're going to lighten things up. Zach, you're going to love the soccer story. We had it on yesterday. One more reason, maybe the best reason ever to hate the game of soccer. And I hate to be that mean. Zach, are you a soccer guy? You're a soccer guy?
I would not describe myself as a soccer guy necessarily. I've enjoyed the game a couple times.
This is probably the best reason I can ever find from a game recently to hate the game of soccer. Why Americans?
I wouldn't go as far as say I hate it.
Okay, we are, and we're going to bring in our resident comedian, Mike Freed.
Here we go.
He'll add to this, I'm sure, And then we've got some other lighter side of sports. We call it going out of bounds. We'll do that when we come back on a Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
There we go, man. It is time to take it out of bounds. We like to lighten things up, the lighter side of sports, and we bring in our buddy, our resident comedian, Mike Freed.
I'm here.
Mike Freed.
How are you, man?
You're right there.
Is my mic live?
How you doing? You sound hot, man. I hear you.
All right.
I hear you. Push that down a little bit so we can see your lovely face.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, there we go.
There we go, Zach.
Did that affect the sound?
Zach, you see me producing here? No, we got to see that. Well, you almost look like the love child if Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise had a love child. Yeah, it's kind of you.
I thought more Lord Voldemort and Kermit the Frog, but I'll go with what you say. That seems.
Fair enough.
I like yours better.
Hey, yesterday, let me turn my page here from yesterday. I think so.
Look at that. You got notes and everything.
and you wonder why we hate soccer was one of our lead topics yesterday. And I want to get you to comment on this.
Okay.
And Zach, you weren't in yesterday. I want you to hear this. This is reason like 8,422,000 why us Americans, we hate soccer.
Right.
It's slow and it's boring. Okay,
Yeah.
Here's the story. MLS, which is the Major League Soccer, American Major League Soccer.
Sure.
And they're trying, they're big in Seattle and Portland and Kansas City. So Kansas City, the Kansas City team is playing the LA Galaxy, I think is the soccer team in LA, right? They're playing. Kansas City wins the match 1-0, 1-0, as they say in soccer, nil.
You got it.
Because nothing is
It's not
a
love.
dirty American term.
Right.
1-0, and I think in that league, a win gives you 3 points. So Kansas City wins 1-0, gets the 3 points for the win. Kansas City, in the 90-minute match, did not one time take a shot on goal.
So it was a penalty or some sort of a
And there was no
overtime?
there was no forfeiture. Zach, not one. They won the match 1-0.
at some point they shot, unless
Got-
that other team scored on itself.
Hold on. They did not. The winning team did not take a shot on goal at all.
Right.
But they won because the Galaxy, at some point in the match, the ball was down near their goal, trying to defend their own goal. They kick it across,
Yeah.
and it hits one of their own players. It's an own goal.
So they scored on themselves. Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean,
Doesn't that sum up why we hate soccer? They didn't take one shot
right.
in 90 minutes, and they won 1-0, got 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you, and it doesn't make me hate it anymore. I mean, do you like, let's go to our sport, let's go to football. Where do you stand on like a low-scoring, Pittsburgh Steelers, grind them up?
I'm
Cleveland
fine
Browns,
with
3-0.
14-10, or there's very few 3-0. I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm fine. At least they made their three.
Right. No, I
It
get
wasn't
it.
like the other team kicked their field goal and said, we're going to give the points to the other guys.
Well, how about a football game against two teams, really strong defense? They're not inept. They're just, gosh, the defense is so tough.
Yeah,
and
I'm fine with that.
And the only score in the game is a safety.
I'm fine. Show me that game.
I'm just saying.
Show me that game.
Would that make you hate football?
Zach, you heard my description. What about they didn't take a shot in the whole game, 90 freaking minutes, and they won.
I mean, that is relatively absurd, but I mean, I don't necessarily know that it makes me hate the sport as a whole and want to go, woe is me on a tirade like you as much. But I mean, I get it. I get your frustrations.
I want you guys to be haters.
Hey,
Why aren't you
I
haters?
understand.
Be haters.
I mean,
you're an American. Be a hater.
We have a love-hate relationship with soccer, though, because we all grow up playing it at some point. Our
No, we
kids
didn't.
play it.
No, we didn't.
A lot of people play it.
No,
at some
I was
point.
the cool guy. I
You were
didn't play
cool?
soccer.
I was not a good athlete in any respect, and soccer was one of the few sports that I failed at.
So anyway, I'm done with that. That was our topic yesterday.
That was a good topic.
Another time to really.
That's certainly a funny game. I think that's an
Yeah.
interesting result, but I don't know that it makes
Yeah.
me hate a sport. That
right.
game would have been painful to watch.
Did you see the Pirate fan fall out of the stands? Poor guy's broke his back, his
Oh, no.
clavicle. You didn't see that?
Was he reaching for a ball?
We really don't know. They say earlier in the game he may have taken he was sitting on the front row of the
Yeah.
outfield. He fell 21 feet,
Oh, my
broken
gosh.
back, broken clavicle, broken everything.
Wow.
20-year-old guy.
Yeah.
They say he's walking around a little bit now in the hospital. But fans in the area said earlier in the game he took his shirt off and poured a beer over himself. So we're thinking drunk. It almost looked like, Zach, did you see it? It almost looked like he hit the James Bond eject button over his seat. He jumps out of his seat and
Wow. And was something exciting going on the field at that
yeah,
time?
something. Yeah, there was a good play for the home team.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of dangerous areas of most sporting events.
Yeah.
And then when you compound it with alcohol, there's plenty of opportunities
Yeah.
for people to get hurt.
Yeah.
A lot of steep
Zach, did you
places.
see that?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull the video up.
And it's kind of we didn't really play it the other day. It's awkward, but if you could play it, Mike, you may want to see it. It's hard to see the human body twirling in the air 21 feet and smashing on the warning track. I mean, he smashed on the warning track. It was.
Yeah. Oof.
Did
Did they have to stop the game?
Oh
or-
yeah. He's out on.
Yeah, I
a
think they had to get a
stretcher.
stretcher. Yeah.
Yeah, it was and see if you can pull that up, Zach. It was a little dicey, I thought.
Yeah. I'm sure they had no shortage of like this game brought to you by the local Farrah and Farrah, Harrow and Harrow.
They're
Yeah.
calling right. Another thing from Pittsburgh, and I'll let you, Mike. I know you got some stuff.
I do.
And this, Zach. Yesterday we didn't use the fan falling or this next one because they were so graphic. So in Pittsburgh, a day or two ago, you've got a fan on the concourse, right? And he is supposedly harassing one of the concessionaire female workers.
Okay.
And there's video of this. And it's so awkward. Zach, you can pull this, and we can look at it. Ugh. So a security guy, a hired security, like Safe, which you see the red shirt guys all over the country.
Right.
So they start having a confrontation. The security, hey, man. So somebody's filming it.
Right.
And they're arguing, the security guy and the fan, I guess over, hey, you can't be treating the girl like that, right? Blah, 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 blah. We can't really hear. We can see.
Right. You assume that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Sir.
And at one point, to be fair, the Pittsburgh Pirates security guy throws 2 punches.
Okay.
Wham, wham.
Right.
I don't know.
Clearly
So-
not at the woman.
No, at the fan.
I
Yeah.
know.
The bam, bam.
Right. All right.
So they start kind of tussling, and
Yeah.
so the security guy threw it. Now I don't know what led up to that.
Yeah.
And you're the attorney. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
if verbal can cause physical. I don't know.
Not really.
So they kind of break up, and one fan is still filming. The fan guy that got punched proceeds to spit
Mm.
at the security guy.
Which he may have done to precede the punch.
Maybe. And, I think spitting on another human being is one of the most vile things you can do.
It's up there, yeah. It certainly justifies a response.
The security guy who got spat at, I don't know if
Right.
it hit him,
Right.
but as this thing was playing out, he had taken his belt off. He proceeds to belt whip the guy.
Wow, he was ready.
He proceeds to belt whip the guy.
watching
KDK
Here we
just
go. What do we
received
got
a new
here?
video
This
is,
showing what
this is a guy
happened when
falling
a
out
man
of the
fell more
bleachers.
than
Watch
20
this.
feet from the stands at
Look,
PNC
he
Park last
jumped,
week.
and-
This video is from a fan who
looks
was
like he
sitting
jumped, but
behind
when he jumped, he leaned
Kevin
forward.
Martin.
Yeah,
You
look.
can see he jumped into
and I
the
haven't seen this angle. The other angle
Yeah,
shows him.
this was new. Yeah.
Yeah, the other angle and that's 21 feet, and he's.
Yeah.
But look,
He was trying to do like a monkey thing.
he's
And then he leans
and that
forward.
wouldn't that lead you to believe it's on him? He was just so drunk.
Yeah. I mean, there'll be a lawyer that will say if the railing,
railing
had been
was higher.
higher, whatever. But it's hard to get a jury to believe that he didn't.
By the
contribute to
way,
that.
as I understand it, Caven, I think his name is, 20 years old. So how was he getting that alcohol?
there is a problem. Well, that could be exposure for the facility.
Could Pittsburgh could PA be a 18 or 19?
No, I don't think
Or most
anybody's-
most states 21.
I think everybody's 21.
Yeah, I think it's nationwide.
Yeah, so Zach, that wasn't as bad. You don't get to see him land, but oh my God, Mike Freed, you see the human body just land from 21 feet. That's not a good thing. That is not a good. Zach, I don't know if you want to try to pull up the pirate security guy fight it's ugly, but he gets the belt out and he belt whips him, and I think he deserved a belt whipping.
Right.
Yeah. Every once in a while, could you get away with that in a court of law? He deserved a belt whooping.
Yeah, I think that's right. I don't know. Belt whipping, I don't even know obviously if I'd be coordinated enough to do it.
I know. But no, he was doing the old grandma. You know how grandma used to grab you with her non-belt hand, and you start spinning around, but you can't get away from her, and she's just wearing you out with that switch or that belt. Anyway, all right, Zach, let me know if you get that. We'll go back to it. Mike Freed, what do you got?
I got a few things.
Let's talk.
I don't know how much you've been talking about Deion Sanders' son. Is it Shador? Is that how we're pronouncing his name? Shador. All right, I nailed it. So obviously, there's been plenty spoken about as it relates to him. And
By the way, when I was naming my daughter, wonderful 25-year-old daughter, Kendall, one child, I picked her name out. It was down to Kendall or Shador, and we went Kendall.
Yeah, well, what were the influencing factors?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You were never going to go with
Yeah,
Shador?
no, I didn't know.
Shador, Norvelle?
I've never heard Shador in my life.
No, nor have I, but fine young man from what
What's
I
going on with
understand.
him?
Well, it's not so much him. It's that there's been a lawsuit filed, this time not by him,
What?
but by a fan. And
What?
The fan is seeking no small pittance. He's seeking $100 million. And he's claiming a whole bunch of different things as it relates to what he calls the NFL's scheming to degrade his reputation. Not his, the plaintiff.
Shador.
He's not suing on behalf of Shador as an aggrieved fan. And he calls in the lawsuit, he calls himself John Doe. He says that he is a dedicated fan of Colorado football who attended the Colorado versus TCO football game in 2023. So he's invested, I guess you would say.
So he's suing because Shador didn't get drafted high enough?
Yes, he believes that the Sherman Antitrust Act has been violated because teams colluded to influence Sanders' fall in the 5th round. Civil Rights Act because he's saying it might have been racial discrimination.
But what does this have to do with the fan?
You're drawing right. You're actually making a very good legal analysis here. In the legal business, we call that standing. What standing does one have? You know, if somebody runs a red light and hits somebody, but it's not you. You can't sue, right? You can't say I feel bad.
I saw that accident. I'm going to sue this guy.
Yes. I mean, there are circumstances.
Now, is this guy just counting on it gets? Hey, if we give you $10,000, can you just take this away?
Nobody's going to pay him any
right?
money.
I mean,
this is a ridiculous
where
lawsuit.
does that fall under frivolous lawsuit?
This is. It's hard for me to imagine that this lawsuit would be anything other than frivolous and entertaining. So he's probably just trying to get his 15 minutes of fame. But if you file a frivolous lawsuit, you can get sanctioned.
Can't you get in trouble for that? Yeah.
You can get in trouble. You have to have a pot to pee.
Are there? And as I understand it, in the legal world, I don't know if there was a time recently, but it seems like there has been a crackdown on frivolous lawsuits. Has that worked to help lighten the load across? Or no? Are there still a billion frivolous?
Well, there's always frivolous. It's a question how quickly we can dispose of them. Because, you can't tell something's frivolous until you look at it.
Well, I'm glad you said that. When I was thinking about this and you sent this to me, I thought frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, the problem with frivolous lawsuits is you still have to take time and waste energies and resources to go, wait a minute, this is frivolous.
Yeah. What the courts have done now in some instances is if someone is a habitual frivolous lawsuit filer, they can impose some sanctions that make it harder for them to file a new lawsuit.
Yeah.
But all you can do is get rid of the case sooner rather than later.
I heard a phrase, you said habitual, which is a fun word. You got to be careful saying it.
Yeah.
But I heard a phrase years ago using that word. Someone was considered a habitual 911 dialer.
Really? Oh, I think there's lonely people that do that.
You just can't. I had an argument. Something went wrong with they could see their history, and they go, this person's a habitual 911 caller.
Yeah.
And they can get in trouble for that, I think.
I'm sure. It's funny you mentioned that because it reminds me, plus your story about the fan getting into a tussle with security. I was at the Amelia Island Shrimp Fest this past weekend with my daughter.
Hanging out with the rich people, huh?
No,
Look at you. Are
not-
you bragging?
Not concourse d'elegance.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
that's the fancy car thing,
not
right?
the fancy car.
I can't even pronounce that thing. How do you say that?
Concourse d'elegance.
That's the car thing?
That's the car thing.
Yeah.
But this one,
We call it the car thing on the west
right.
side.
This one was huge, and but anyway, we're in this restaurant.
Black tie affair?
No.
$100 ticket?
No tickets. You just walk around and have some shrimp. But there was a lady, actually a group of people, and they had brought a dog into the restaurant, and the dog was in a stroller, and, be that as it may, I'm not.
Sure.
There was another lady, an old lady, let's call her Karen just because she was acting very Karen-like.
A Karen?
Who did not like the dog in the restaurant. And so she proceeds to get in the face of the lady with the dog and yell at her and berate her and ask for proof that it's some sort of emotional support or a ADA, sort of support dog. But it appeared, and it was like a great dinner theater. I was just sitting there watching it.
Nice.
Oh, it was great. It was like free
When
show.
did it? I'm going to guess maybe 10 to 15 years ago. For the longest time, and I'm a dog lover.
Yeah.
I took my dog to the beach Sunday
Right.
morning, and then we went to the pet store just to.
Right,
I needed to
right.
buy some food just to get her out and let her. It was probably 10-ish years ago, before that, you couldn't take a dog into a restaurant or anything. But that just stopped, and now
The free for all.
how? Why? What?
I mean,
what made that happen? Will it ever go back?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think some of it relates to protection of people that have disabilities and the broadening of the definition of disabilities to include people with anxiety and the like. And so generally, if somebody says, I got a disability, you can't say, tell me what kind of disability you got. I'm not going to let you into the handicap stall unless you prove it. And so the challenge there is if somebody's got a dog, I think it gets harder and just awkward for a restaurant or anybody to inquire.
Yeah.
But in this case, I believe the old lady.
Some people are stretching it now. This is my stress billy goat.
Yeah.
This is my little alligator.
Pony horse. Yeah, no, that's right. Whatever helps you. But this lady, I think the old lady was the bad actor in this scenario because she then complains so much and threatens the other lady so much that the restaurant kicks her out. Then old lady Karen, she calls the police, and then she stands outside and waits for the police. The poor police.
Normally, the police are getting called on Karen.
Yeah, they were. Karen was calling them on herself.
Karen,
because
spin there on Karen.
They basically just told her she had to leave.
Do we have an answer? We know Karen in the description world is a Karen.
Yeah.
What about a guy? Is that a Carl? Is that a? Do we have a name for the guy that's the guy Karen?
I think it was like Brennan or something. I don't know. Maybe your producer knows.
Mike Freed or no?
It could be.
I think it should be Carl.
I don't think it's Carl. Yeah, I mean, who?
Ken.
Yeah, I don't know. Buster. But anyway, so that was an interesting encounter. So
what else you got?
I have to report that I am not making this up. I swear to God that when I looked up male version of Karen, it literally says Terry.
Shut your filthy mouth.
I'm not making this up.
Shut your filthy
I swear it
that
says
seems about
that.
right.
Why is your mic on? Why is your mic on?
I swear it says that.
I could see that.
I also see Ken and Kevin.
All right, that'll do it. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the Wednesday edition of the Terry Terry Show.
Yeah. The Terry Show. How about that?
Hey,
Terry's
Zach,
a Karen.
of all the things you could have broken in with, that's what you
I
did?
had to. I think that's breaking news.
He fact checks.
Is it Terry with an I and a heart above it? That's how I spell my name.
It is.
T-E-R-I with a
Y.
heart. I dot the I with a heart.
I think it's Bradshaw. He screwed it up for all
Yeah,
the kids
maybe.
everywhere.
Yeah. All right, what do you got? Give me some
So
other funny
A.J.
stuff.
Brown, A.J. Brown?
Receiver.
Yeah, he proposed to his girlfriend.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he did it the way most really, really rich people do by throwing like this huge party that had to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, everybody does it like that.
Way more than like what most people spend on a wedding. But not only that, he hired John Legend to come sing to his soon-to-be fiance. She said yes. So beautiful event you can watch. And I'm not a big fan of this public engagement thing. I think engagements, probably weddings for that matter, should be private affairs. And this whole, like, if I tell you I'm going to propose to somebody and then everybody's there and then the girl or the woman is surprised or pretends to be surprised, I don't know. It's
Is John Legend like a romantic singer guy?
Yeah.
I know the name and
He's a
all, and I
crooner.
know, but he's more of a crooner. He's a crooner kind of.
Well, no, he's just an amazing.
Do you know what he sang? Was it a song called "Will You Marry Me" or something? Or
I think he wrote a special song. I think they hired him to write a special song. Elegant. I think it was a specialized song.
Hey, by the way, I'm just going to go back a few minutes. Hey, Zach, shut the hell up. Who asked you to jump in?
I
there?
asked. I said maybe your producer
Hey,
could
well,
check
you know when the
this.
mail carrier?
Yeah, he did.
Carrier.
He gave a special request for the producer to dig in and do some research, and so I went to the depths of the internet.
Shouldn't producers be seen, not heard, or I don't know, something like that? Hey, was that slander? What he just did to me?
Truth is never
Was that
never
How
slandered.
do you know it's truth? Prove that's true.
He believed it to be true.
Well, I'm just saying that's what the AI
Zach-
overview from Google spat out as
Zach,
the very first
because
example.
I think we have litigation forthcoming, I cannot communicate with you the rest of the show. Okay?
Well, he could turn your mic off, so you got to
You
be
shut
careful
your
there.
I do. I'll
mouth.
pull all the switches.
You can't, he's got a real filthy mouth in there. You know that? Can I sue a guy for having a filthy
He's
mouth?
doing his job and doing it well. I'm impressed.
Jeez.
So, yeah, the only other story I have, this one's kind of a cute story. I don't know if it qualifies as sports, but animals sort of seem sports-like. The world's tallest dog. You know what the world's tallest dog is? How tall? How tall would you?
Tallness, like
Yeah,
top of his head?
On all fours, top. How?
Oh, God.
It's a dog, remember?
4 feet.
No, you see, you blew it. It is 3 feet 3 inches. So that's pretty tall. And then the world's
3 feet? Wait a minute. That's the tallest?
It's on all
I know
four.
Great Danes that are taller than you.
Not if they're on all fours. If they stand on
Zach,
two,
do you believe that? 3 feet's the tallest dog on what?
3 feet 3 inches.
That's pretty tall.
That's really tall.
Y'all are colluding again
Right.
here against me.
You're such a Terry.
I wouldn't have thought I wouldn't have thought that was the tallest. That is pretty tall.
Mike, you're now included in the lawsuit, pal.
This is from
Welcome.
Guinness Book of World Records. They would never lie. Well, anyway, the world's tallest dog met with the world's shortest dog. You are right, by the way. It was a Great Dane that met with a Chihuahua.
Don't tell me they bred.
No,
they got a little midget dog.
No, they do have a lot of that going on, but no, this they just met. They met on this guy's couch, which is kind of creepy.
Oh my!
Yeah, so that happened. It was a huge meeting. Oh, I guess I did have one other story. Also in the world of animals.
We got a few more minutes. You better have some more stories.
4 stories is all I've. It's my quota.
Good Lord. Well, we'll talk some comedy here. Comedy clubs. And stuff.
A loose kangaroo caught on video hopping down a Florida road, which seems odd because the kangaroos are not native to Florida.
In Florida?
Yeah, it was in Florida.
Have you ever seen I guess at a zoo, but are there kangaroos in Florida?
There are people, according to the story, who privately own kangaroos and apparently don't always maintain them as well as they should.
Was anybody missing one?
Yes, they did say that they could not say who it was, but they were aware of them
Full-size kangaroo?
I don't know.
Hey, do you guys...
the full size of that one.
Do you guys believe... You can go on the Facebook and see, like, on social media...
The Facebook?
Yeah, the Facebook.
What are you, 90 years old?
What?
You're gonna crank out the Facebook?
You've heard of the Facebook, right?
You don't have to say the.
I say the Facebook. That's what it is. It's
actually
the Facebook.
Meta is what they're calling it.
You shut up. It's the Facebook. I tell you, it's a bad day for me. I tell you, is everybody against me? Is it?
No. This is just friendly ribbing.
You're against me. Like, you know who said that? Granny Clampett.
Wow.
You're either win me or against me.
That's a good follow-up on the Facebook.
What
else
was
do you
I
have to
saying?
tell us, Grandpa Terry?
What was I saying? Oh. Have you guys
Facebook.
seen, like, on social media and the Facebook, they've got some of these videos, and it's like out in a field somewhere, and a guy is in a boxing match with a kangaroo, and the kangaroo's just punching.
They used to do that in, like,
is that real?
Traveling carnival. Yeah,
That's not real.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's frowned upon nowadays with animal rights and people rights.
You think that's real, though?
I know. I've
Zach,
seen
have you ever seen that? The kangaroo and the guy are.
Oh yeah, you don't want to fight the kangaroo.
And the kangaroo's going. I mean, quick.
There were those movies. What's that guy's name? Just a funny actor where they go in the Australian outback and encounter kangaroos, and they sort of turn one of the kangaroos into very human-like.
You think that's real in those videos?
Yeah, if it's old enough.
Hey, did you hear about the coyote over in my neck of the woods? They ended up shooting a coyote. I hated it.
Oh, is that the one that was drinking out of a fountain or a solar roof?
No, I really don't know what you're talking about.
I thought I saw a headline where there was a coyote drinking
No,
out of
there's a
somebody's...
coyote biting people.
Oh.
Rabid coyote. I was hoping they were going to trap it and move it, but they shot it.
Move it to your house.
No, it happened over in the Mayport Hood area.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. A coyote.
Wow. Where did it come from?
Coyotes, well, we've moved them out of their...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's coyotes.
Their natural habitat.
Yeah, there's coyotes that run around. You got to be careful. By the way, coyotes and like hawks and stuff, big birds.
Yeah.
If you got a little dog.
Yeah, they'll pick them up.
You better. Yeah, they'll pick that sucker up.
All right.
Like Toto and what was that movie from Toto?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz, great movie by the way.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah,
great movie.
Very modern.
Yeah, it's a great
reference.
movie. Great trivia for you, and I don't know exactly which one won it.
Mm-hmm.
But how about this? 1939.
Yes.
Mike Freed, you are in charge of giving out the movie of the year.
Academy Awards.
Academy Award, and that's a big award.
Yeah, big Oscar.
1939, Mike Freed.
Yeah.
Do you give it to a little movie called The Wizard of Oz?
Right.
You know, halfway through it went color.
First colorized movie, MGM, I think.
A little movie you've heard of called The Wizard of Oz, 1939, and a little movie called Gone with the Wind.
I was thinking it might be Gone with the Wind.
I can't remember who won it.
Yeah.
But somebody had to pick out who wins.
Very
Can
different
you
movies.
imagine you're the losing movie and you go, how did I lose Picture of the Year?
Yeah.
I'm Gone with the Wind, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Have you ever watched Gone with the Wind all the way through?
No.
It is a good movie.
Is it?
Yeah, it's gotta be a rainy Sunday.
Oh.
And because that damn thing goes about 6 hours.
I feel like it's one of those movies I've seen it like mocked and portrayed on like a Saturday Night Live or even
And
the old
Carol
Burnett.
Burnett,
Yeah.
Carol Burnett did it a
Where she
lot.
pulled the curtains
The
down.
curtains, yeah.
Yeah.
She classically did it. Good movie.
Yeah.
Clark Gable and Vivian Lee. That's trivia right there.
Frankly, my dear,
I
I
don't
don't give a damn.
I don't.
That was cursing too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. What's going on in the comedy world? And I got to say this: Patric Young is really pushing me. He wants to go to the comedy club in Mayport. Do you know
the
when?
Boussois?
No,
the First Coast Comedy?
right there. Do you know when it's open? How do
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find out? Can
Yeah.
we reach
I
out
know
to
they're-
somebody?
yeah.
He's dying to go.
Oh, they're open at least Friday and Saturday. Sometimes they're open during the week.
Like 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, they have a couple different shows. Now, again, that is improv. They have some stand up, but for the most part, that is an improv club where you get
Meaning?
1, 2, 3, 5 people standing up on stage, the audience throwing out some ideas, and then them building it into a skit.
There's a TV show that used to do that.
Yeah, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Yeah.
What'd you think of that show?
I liked it in the beginning. It was on for a long time.
Yeah.
It sort of got to be a parody of itself, but
Yeah.
I liked it. But it's a young couple with a baby that runs this place out there, and it's a beautiful little club.
Have you performed there before?
I have. They've done a couple comedy festivals, and they invited me to perform, and that was fun. But again, they're more improv, but they do.
I've got a rare.
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't say this because it's going to fill up. I've got a weekend. It's rare to have a free weekend
Right.
and not have things.
Right.
You know, and I'm gonna get in trouble here, but like the last weekend I kind of had off.
Yeah.
I had to go to a graduation.
Right.
And then I had to go to a birthday party.
Right.
And so that's not really off.
No.
I've got
lot
a
of
weekend
obligations.
as of right now.
Uh-huh.
And I know I'm jinxing myself.
This weekend?
I've got a weekend of a free weekend.
Coming
so
up. Spoken like a true. You are not currently married, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So you and I are in the same position. When you're married, Mother's Day weekend, which is what this one is.
Yeah.
It's a busy weekend, but when you're a single guy.
And my mother's passed.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. My
you know.
mom's got dementia, so she
I'm
probably won't
sorry.
know whether I'm there or not.
I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I'll still go see her, but
Yeah.
I don't need to stay the whole day. She'll just think I did.
Yeah. Just leave a cutout or something. Get a big head. Remember fat head. Remember when fat heads, is that gone? Remember you couldn't watch any sporting event during a commercial break? They would pitch fat head. Zach, you remember that? The fat head. Where's the fat head gone?
Oh, yeah, I had some fat heads in the room.
Is that gone?
Ah, man, I don't know if you can buy them anymore. Yeah.
I hadn't seen a
see-
commercial for the fat head in a long time.
I mean, if what you mean is like a large blow up of your head,
Yeah.
I see them when I do runs. People will bring them to support the runners.
But I
And the
mean, you
whole-
don't see them on pitching the commercials.
Yeah,
anymore.
they don't advertise, but no, you can definitely still buy them. I see them for sale.
You could buy if you went on Amazon right now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure you could buy a fat head of yourself delivered tomorrow.
Be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's what you should do for your weekend. So what you're asking?
So
what you should do.
I wonder. I need to talk to Patrick, but he wants to go to that comedy club.
Yeah, I bet you they're open unless they're closed for Mother's Day or something like that. But no,
But they'd probably be open Friday, Saturday, right?
Yeah, if not, I mean the Comedy Zone's always great. You know who's at the Comedy Zone this weekend? Tony Rock, Chris Rock's brother, is at the Comedy Zone, and Chris Rock has a bunch of really funny brothers, and Tony is
Does
one
he
of
look
them.
like him? Is he talk like him? Is he got the same shtick?
I am a white guy, so legally I'm not allowed to say that one black person looks like another.
Yeah.
They
well,
all look very
well, they
different.
say
and
all of us
unique.
white guys look alike.
They are allowed. That's the only black
Yeah.
privilege that's left.
Zach, we all look alike, don't we?
I don't want
Right?
to get into that.
Come
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, sure.
No,
Nice.
there's very few black privileges in America. A black person can come up to a white person and say, "You look like Michael J. Fox," and even if you don't, that's not racist. But if I say any
No.
black person looks like another one, it's just inherently racist.
But it's under comedy.
Yeah, you know.
Can't you say anything under comedy?
No, you. Well, you sure you can
Isn't
if you bear the
it amazing
consequences.
how comedy and animation
Mm-hmm.
have like a force field? You can almost do anything under the guise of comedy and animation.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been quote unquote canceled that would
Yeah.
disagree with that. But I think you can say whatever you want. You just have to deal with the consequences.
By the way, I don't know if this guy would be considered a comedian,
Mm.
but not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, I'm gonna. You see my actual
Vice Star.
Vice Star. Yeah, I do a little work
You
at
working?
the arena. I
Okay.
helped this morning. There's a graduation.
Cotton candy. You sell cotton candy?
Yeah, cotton candy, candy, peanuts, popcorn, peanuts, popcorn.
Right.
How's that, Zach? Peanuts, popcorn,
Hey, you were built for that.
peanuts, cold beer,
Yeah, I think,
cold beer.
I think that might be your highest
Actually,
and best use.
I do some work at the arena, help out, set up with on the ops side, and I was down. I worked this morning 4 or 5 hours helping them get ready for FSCJ graduation.
Okay. Yeah, they do those there.
But where was I going with this?
I don't know. You've always wanted to graduate?
Well, seriously, where was I going with this?
We were talking about your weekend, Comedy Zone, Tony Rock.
Oh, I know where I was going.
Racism.
Not this. Yeah, you were talking racism. Mike Freed, racism.
I was talking about
Racism.
not being racist.
Racism, Mike Freed. Not this Sunday, but the following Sunday.
Yeah.
We were talking about a lot of stuff going on down there. And I'm going to work because I just want to see the show. When you work the shows, you can kind of, a lot of times everything's set up early, and you may get a call here and there to do something during. But I don't know if he's considered a comedian, but I'm going to work just so I can see the show. Greg Gutfeld. Would you call the Fox?
I know the name.
Greg Gutfeld. Okay, that's going to kill it here.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does a monologue before. He's like the biggest politician, political guy on Fox now.
Okay.
And he's lighthearted, but he'll be in. I want to see him.
So satirist, might you call him? Kind of in the
Yeah, but I mean, they get on hardcore topics and all.
Yeah.
But he does when he opens up, like I think his show's on 9 to 10 or 10, 9 to 10 on Fox Monday through Friday.
Right.
But he's kind of the number one Fox guy,
Is
and
he? Well,
he'll be here next.
Everybody else is in the president's cabinet.
Yeah.
There's nobody left.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah, but he'll be here next Sunday.
All right.
I don't know if he's a comedian though. I don't know what you'd call him.
Sounds
How
like
do you
he's
not know Greg Gutfeld?
Yeah, just a question of which silo I'm in, right?
Okay.
We are all in different information.
It's a little after 5. Can make us laugh before we get out of here. We're going to talk some serious sports medicine on the other side.
Well, that's what I hope I've been doing this
Where
whole time.
you got any gigs coming up?
I got some Comedy Zone stuff coming up. I got some out of town stuff coming up. Next Friday, there's a fun rooftop show. There's a rooftop bar in the South Bank of Jacksonville.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, yeah.
What?
And
What?
I should probably know the name of the place, but I think it's just called the Rooftop Show. If you Google that, Flo Funny is the promoter of it, and it's a fun little show. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Flo Funny,
one.
that's a good name.
That's her name. She's very funny.
Have you ever thought of I guess, is it a pseudonym name? If you get much bigger, you'll have to have a Did he just be Mike Freed? As large as you get? I mean, you're getting large, you know.
Oh yeah, I hope so. Freed to Run is, Freed to Laugh is my comedy. Freed to Run is my run philanthropy.
How far or what growth percentage has your comedy reached after being on this show for a couple months now?
Oh my gosh, it's incalculable how much I've grown.
TMZ calls you and stuff.
I think you follow me now.
I think
so
TMZ
at least
is
have grown by
outside
one.
right now filming you.
It's true. They're looking for the bloopers and the outtakes. Yeah, the show's at the South Bank Hotel, which I guess is the one.
It's a rooftop?
Yeah, they got a rooftop there. So if you've ever wanted to see comedy and the sunset at the same time,
that's a beautiful thing.
Now's your opportunity. That is next Friday, May.
That's a beautiful
16th.
thing. You know that, Mike?
Thank you. It's a beautiful
Thank
vision
you for
I've given
bringing
you.
beauty to the end of this segment.
That's what I'm here for.
Very nice.
Oh, I will say, Murray Hill Theater, Clean Comedy Show. We're doing that June the 7th, which happens to also be my birthday. And got a couple of really good, funny comedians. So go.
Have you ever done that venue, which is Clean Comedy, and accidentally dropped some bombs?
I haven't, but one of the comedians I hired did. And
was it the F?
I got some bad looks.
Was it the F?
Yeah, it was the F, but not in describing the act, just like as an accent.
Yeah.
And
Because some people use the F word like people use the word the.
Yeah, it's from. I was a New Yorker, and that's just he was just breathing.
So he didn't do it on purpose, though.
No, he didn't even know he did it. When I was like, "Hey, man, you dropped an F bomb," he's like, "No, I didn't. What the F?"
No. Did they tell him never to come back?
He probably won't be invited back, but it's okay.
Was he funny?
He was good. He's very good. He's a good comedian. It was a clean set. He just, at one point, said, "I don't."
Did the audience?
I think the audience was fine, but Tony Nasrallah, who's a great runner of that facility, probably wasn't happy.
Yeah, I told you I spent a lot of time in that facility as a youngster when it was Murray Hill Theater, and Edgewood Theater was right down the street, not even a quarter mile. Two theaters.
It's probably on Edgewood, right?
And it's right on Edgewood.
That's where I would put it.
Yeah, Edgewood. But man, we'd get dropped off like 10, 11, 12, way back in the day, and you'd go back and forth.
Wow.
Watching movies here. The cool thing about Murray Hill,
so wild,
we were crazy,
yeah.
crazy. The cool thing about the Murray Hill Theater, it had the balcony.
Yeah, they have that still.
And man, if you could somehow trick a 13-year-old girl that you liked at school to meet you Saturday for the movie.
You don't want to finish a sentence.
Hey, we're going up in the balcony.
All right, there's no statute of limitations on those things.
Yeah, here we go. All right, anything else?
I think I've exhausted everything I had to
We have taken it out of bounds with our resident comedian, Mike Freed. We'll come back, talk some sports medicine with Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Bricks Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Bricks Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Bricks Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry. We still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation, pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, we move it into sports medicine talk. Our good friend Dr. Aaron Bates joins us from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Got a lot of stuff to knock around with Dr. Aaron Bates. Hey, Doc, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Got a little rain coming down. I think that's what they call it. There's water falling from the sky we hadn't seen in a long time.
That's right. We certainly need it.
Man, we do. Doc, got several things I want to kick around with you. Some stuff we've talked about, and I want you to reiterate some of these entries. A couple in Major League Baseball, they just sound so bad. I want to back up, though. We just got through the Kentucky Derby, right? And I think a lot of it's a fun event. A lot of people watch it, one time. And, Doc, this isn't really one injury. I just want you to talk about – I got thinking because I was looking at some of these jockeys and horses that have won over the years and famous jockeys. Think about the beating that a horse jockey takes. I mean, they're on the back of a what, 1,500-pound, 2,000-pound animal running full speed. And, Doc, here's the thing. A lot of your famous jockeys, in their career, they race 3,000 to 4,000 times. Can you imagine the beating they take? 3,000 trips around a mile. The back. What about the back, the knees, and they're generally on their haunches, if you know what I mean. They're
I mean, generally it's going to lend to a lot of overuse injuries. Other than the injuries that catastrophic, like you fall off the horse or whatever.
Sure.
You get fractures and concussions and, God forbid, paralyzation.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Back injuries, overuse injuries, even. Can you imagine the core strength they need to ride all those races?
I mean, and I knew this, but I'm not sure a lot of people realize, such as the Kentucky Derby. That's the one of the 3 triple crown races. It's the biggest race. It's the Kentucky Derby. It's on the first Saturday in May. It's a huge. Well, that is one. They have about 20 races that day. Some of those jockeys, jockeys will go and they'll race to get to 3,000 to 4,000 races in their career. On a given Saturday, they're racing 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, the pounding they take. What do you think's at risk? Is it their back? Is it their knees? Their neck? I mean, there's a lot of pounding in 4,000 jockey rides.
Yeah, just with the position that they're in, going around the track, and then the position is kind of jostling around the whole time. That's what I talked about the core.
Yeah,
so definitely low back injuries is something that they can have over time, as well as neck injuries. Probably don't see as much shoulder or upper extremity type injuries, but you can have certainly knee injuries and ankle injuries.
Yeah. I was also trying to correlate, thinking, what other sport would you have that time? I mean, every time that horse gallops, there's, it just never ends for 2 minutes times 4,000 over your career. I was trying to think, Doc, what other sport might correlate that? You know what I thought of? And you've seen it before. I'm not a big expert on it, but these motocross riders, these guys that, and they've got hills and bumps, and they're just smashing and I can't think of any else other than motocross that might be.
I used to take care of some motocross races. I was with a guy here doing my training, Steve Augustine.
Okay.
He was the guy that took care of all of the supercross and motocross on the eastern half of the nation. And so I remember recovering a race in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. And man, these guys are crazy. They just jump on each other.
Yes.
On their motorcycles. Yeah.
And I mean,
it's amazing.
Those tracks, and a lot of them are man-made inside, but some of them are outside. But those tracks are, maybe a mile? They just go round and round, and they're landing and jumping and hitting. And the other thing that got me, and obviously this is not in your specialty, but Doc, those jockeys and those motocross guys, what about their inner organs just getting jostled around? And I mean, my God.
I don't know if that has much to do with it.
God.
You have a lot of cushion in there. It's supposed to take that. It's more your extremities and your muscles and tendons and all of that.
Could you get a horse jockey not falling off the horse, but just the jostling? Could you get a concussion from that? You're going down, and then all of a sudden you go up, and your brain's hitting. Could you get concussed just from riding a horse, a big, powerful horse?
No, you really can't get concussion just from riding. But obviously, if you fall off and hit your head, you can have a concussion.
And that happens. You've seen guys get seriously hurt, falling off, getting thrown. You've probably seen, Doc. They'll get thrown off, and their foot will still be stuck in the stirrup, I guess is the word, and they're getting drugged. And oh, by the way, like I said, that's a 2,000-pound animal that may step on you or whatever. Wow, yeah, it was just interesting. I saw Bill Shoemaker, I think. We all know some of the famous jockeys. You'll know the name. They did it for years. Shoemaker, I think, was one. And I remember looking up this guy over the weekend, and he had 4,000 rides in his career. 4,000, for God's sake. Yeah, it is.
It is a beating.
It is definitely a beating. Doc, couple things I want you to comment on. I don't have the guy's name. I'm sorry. I forgot to write it down. The Red Sox just lost a player for the season. And we've talked about this, but this injury sounds so damn bad to me. Ruptured patella tendon. That's the kneecap. We've talked about this. It sounds so bad to me. Talk about that injury.
Well, it is a devastating injury. It takes about a year to come back from that and the quad tendon injury. And what it is the patella tendon is a tendon that attaches the kneecap or patella to the shin bone, and it helps you extend the knee. And when you disrupt that, you disrupt the whole extensor mechanism.
God.
So anywhere along the extensor mechanism that's disrupted, yet you can't really squat or extend the knee or anything like that. And it takes a long time to come back from.
That description just sounds terrible to me. Ruptured patella tendon, and that's the kneecap, right? I think you might have said, yeah.
It's a tendon that attached from the kneecap to the tibia or the shin bone.
Is the hard kneecap that I'm touching mine right now? The kneecap, is that just in place to be a shield?
No.
No. What is it? What is the purpose?
To give you leverage to extend your leg, to extend your knee. If it wasn't there, then the quad muscle would have a much harder time extending the knee.
Interesting. Yeah, that popped up with a Red Sox player. Yankees player Jazz Chisholm. We've talked about he is out now. A grade 4 oblique issue. Grade 4 oblique. We've talked about the oblique. They say he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 4 oblique. Catch us up on what that is again.
Well, it's just the muscle, your abdominis obliquus muscle, part of your trunk and core. And so you know how much we use the core.
Yeah.
He just really strained it. And a grade 4 strain is one of the worst you can get.
Okay. And 4 to 6 weeks, pretty standard?
Yeah. Maybe even longer.
Wow. Maybe even longer. Tough injury for him. I want to go to a philosophy. And this will be our last thing here with Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. We enjoy our sports medicine discussion every Wednesday here about this time on the show. This is more of a philosophy. Let me explain it, and you jump in and take it any way. We had terrible weather all over the Southeast this past weekend. We had Major League Baseball, and a lot of college baseball was rained out or, in a lot of cases, delayed. The start a game, rain comes, front comes through, and they don't play again for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It happened at Florida, and it happened all over the country. Florida was at South Carolina. And they used the term, let's say a game starts, your starting pitcher may be in the middle of the first inning, maybe even into the second inning. He's thrown 32 pitches. The rain comes. It's a 2.5 hour delay. They end up playing after the rain blows through, but that pitcher is considered burnt. He warmed up, and he went 32, 33 pitches, 28, 30, whatever, a couple innings, maybe one. And rarely, if ever, it's just considered that guy, you're not going to bring him back 2.5 hours later. He ggets cold and all. What are your thoughts on that? Is that you see where I'm going with that? He only threw maybe 31 pitches, but he heated up. He started the game. He got into the second inning. The game won't start for 2.5 hours. Well, he's done. They just don't. They call it burnt. He's burnt. What are your thoughts on that? Could that guy come back? It's always been kind of I don't want to say a wives' tale, but that's kind of how baseball always has been.
Yeah, I don't know exactly for sure if that's just a baseball thing and it's kind of caught on, or does that have some credence to further injury,
Yeah, yeah,
or if they just don't perform as well. Maybe that's
yeah,
why they're burnt.
yeah.
Maybe they just don't have the velocity on the ball or the, stuff that they would normally have when they first warmed up.
But like Florida, their ace, Liam Peterson, it happened Friday night. He visiting team. So the bottom of the first, he goes out. They're the visiting team. He throws like it was 10 or less pitches. The weather comes in. They delay 2.5 hours. He's done. He doesn't go back out. A new pitcher, and I get it. You go through your warm up. You're running a little bit 2 hours before the game. You're slowly getting loose. Well, he doesn't go back in, and then the next day he doesn't start. But Sunday he came back. It's just almost an unwritten rule. You just don't bring a pitcher back if they're considered burnt. I guess heating up and then cooling down, you don't really want to reheat up.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if that's a medical issue or just a performance issue.
Yeah, yeah.
They may think it's a medical issue.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's truly been studied or not.
Yeah,
I think
you're right about that. It's more of a. Let me phrase it like this. I think you'll get what I'm going to say. I think it's more of a baseball wives' tale issue. Right. That it's always been that way, and you probably don't want to be the manager that runs Dr. Aaron Bates back out there after 42 pitches and 2.5 hours, because what if something does happen? Well, you're not supposed to. He was burnt. I think it's more of a wives' tale baseball issue, but boy, it is a
It'd be interesting to see if say they did that years ago and they looked at it and said, "Oh, we see too many injuries. These folks coming back out just after pitching an inning or two, then having 50 minutes to an hour and a half off, and then trying to come back again." Or they look at the analytics of it and say, "Okay, we bring it back," and they gave up 8 runs or something like that.
Yeah, and said, "Okay, we just sent him out there with a recipe to fail. We knew better than that, hey, man." And then it's almost like that has caught on, and that is so ingrained in the baseball world. No, and by the way, nobody brings them back, basically. If you throw 31 pitches in an inning and a half and there's a 2-hour rain delay or a total, you're not coming back. It's just a baseball thing. It's just a baseball thing. I wanted to run that by you. All right, Doc, I know you're trying to get home. Be careful in the weather. We need the rain, but it's coming down pretty good. Good stuff. We'll get together next week. As always, we appreciate everything you do with our show. Dr. Aaron Bates, the best in the business when it comes to orthopedic surgery, and, of course, Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, our good friends here that bring this segment. Thanks, Doc.
Have a good day.
Appreciate it. That is our buddy, Dr. Aaron Bates. Let's take a break, come back, reset the show. Gator basketball, boy, they are putting together their schedule for next year, and it might be the toughest schedule that Gator basketball has had so far, and it's going to get tougher, but that's kind of what you want to do. You toughen up, you play the big games, you play the marquee games, and hopefully get enough wins that you don't have to worry about where your seating is at. We'll talk about Gator basketball. Major League Baseball, Braves have won 3 in a row. Got some baseball to talk about, including, boy, the Colorado Rockies. It is just going bad, bad, bad. We are, 4, maybe 5 games away from the quarter pole in Major League Baseball, 1/4 of the season. You won't believe what the numbers project for the Rockies. That and a whole lot more. Terry Norvelle, Zach Rothrock producing. We'll come back and start wrapping up a Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show right here on Action Sports Jax.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dynamic Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
All right, good stuff here as we are blowing through a Wednesday edition of the Young and Norvelle Show. I want to thank all of our guests, including Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, the best in the business. Check out everything they can do for you or someone that you know that may need orthopedic care, the best in the business. Get them in, get them seen. Do not sit and wait at some local corner emergency urgent care or emergency room. Go to se-ortho.com. They will direct you. They've got several, no appointment necessary. Get seen immediately. Get it started. The best ortho care in the world, handled by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. I want to thank Dr. Aaron Bates and also our buddy, our resident comedian, Mike Freed, stopped in, and we always enjoy some lighter side of sports. We call it our Out of Bounds segment. Hope you enjoyed that as well. Zach Rothrock producing. Zach, couple things here. Number one, the news of the day here in Jacksonville. We talked. It was the first story we talked about today on the program. Gabe Davis, released. No big surprise to me. I was one of the guys a year or so ago when he got signed. I hit the brakes and said, guys, this is Gabe Davis. Saves them. They're still going to take a hit, but the way they do it, I guess they can move the hit 2 years, I think, as I understand it. They'll actually maybe technically turn the paperwork in June. Did I hear something like that? If they do it in June, they're going to cut him. They've cut him. They've let him know. But if they hold on, there's some kind of date in June where they can split they've got to pay him dead money. There will be dead money, but they can double it, or I'm sorry, split it between this year and next year.
Yeah, so it's that they can designate him as a post-June 1 release,
There you
even
go.
though it's pre that.
There you go.
And that means they're going to absorb a $5.7 million dead cap as opposed to what would have been a $20 million cap hit.
Yeah, so it's financially advantageous to play the system a little bit. But yeah, the Gabe Davis experience. Now he was hurt, but he wasn't exactly going to light it up. Didn't you agree? I mean, the experiment was a failure. Yeah, and I tried to tell people. I said, man, I thought the local fluffy Jaguar media, which I call it, I thought they really blew him up a year ago, and I was going, man, guys, I think there's a million Gabe Davises in the league. Did I hit this one? I hit this one, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right about this for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll give credit where it's due.
So Gabe Davis released by the Jaguars. Wow, there'll be a really new BTR. Brian Thomas obviously will be one of the returnees, obviously the star.
Oh yeah.
But man, no Ingram, no Kirk, no Davis. So Hunter and
I mean, it's going to have to be Brian Thomas.
they've got to be good, man. You better, between the 1 and the 2, Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas, there better be 120 catches between them, right?
I think that's more or less what the overall community is anticipating from Brian Thomas Jr. He's in the very, very early fantasy football drafts. He's going in the second round, so he's going really, really high.
It'll be interesting to
About
see.
pick 14 in early second round.
It'll be interesting to see how Brian Thomas reacts. And I mean, he started commanding attention probably mid-season on, but he'll be everyone's number one mark.
Oh, yeah.
From a defensive back standpoint, when they play the Jaguars, all right, it'll be interesting to see. He'll draw everybody's number one cornerback now from day one, not mid-season.
Imagine.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. But don't you think Travis Hunter, and Brian Thomas, they better combine for 125, 140 catches, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of foreseeing a bunch of short, quick. Just get the ball out to them quickly. Let them get as many yards
Especially
as they can.
if the Jaguars have trouble protecting.
Which I would also anticipate. Yeah,
and they're smart enough. They'll now the defense is smart enough too. You know, I mean, they'll play press coverage and say, if you're throwing it real quick, well, we may pick it off real quick. We're not.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see but I mean, the thing is, their teams are going to have to focus on Brian Thomas Jr., but then you're going to have to always see, because I'm imagining Travis Hunter lining up in a different spot almost every single play and doing a different role all the time. So it's just going to be the distraction and the gimmick, whatever you want to call it. But I think it's going to end up being really productive for him.
And I know Evan Ingram missed a lot of time, but boy, he was a pretty good football player his time here. And and you know, that one year he had 116 catches. Is it Strange or somebody? They need to find some tight end catches too. They need to replace those tight end catches somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. He was the main cog. I mean, he was the most consistent cog in the offense.
He was pretty good. He was a pretty good player. What was he? 3-ish years here, 3 or 4 years, and I know he missed a bunch last year. But
yeah, that's the issue.
But he was when he was on the field. I mean, he wasn't going down the seam and catching 60-yarders. He caught a lot of passes, and he was dependable. I get it.
I mean,
age.
I think they ended up having to use him more than they wanted to because of what they got out of guys like Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis and even Calvin Ridley. Yeah.
So the Gabe Davis release today, basically, in the NFL is probably the second biggest NFL wide receiver story. What do you make of George Pickens? The Steelers pretty much finally said, this guy's he's in a lot of trouble. He's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
So he goes to the Cowboys. George Pickens, who is kind of a knucklehead.
That's fair.
And kind of a knucklehead. Immensely talented kid from Georgia. Very talented. But how about George Pickens in the Cowboy fishbowl with Jerry Jones and that? How's that going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see a lot of ways that can go really, really poorly, really badly. But I mean, I will say that the George Pickens, he may have just pure catching ability and the ability to catch a contested catch. There might not be anyone better than he is. Just that part. Now he can't run all the routes, and he's got tremendous. he crashes out, as they say, a lot. Are you familiar with this term, crashing out?
That is a great description.
yes, he
yes,
is a crash out.
But he's, and you see this in sports a lot, he's intoxicating because of his raw talent. I mean, he's immensely talented. And when Pickens, the few times at Georgia and in the NFL, when he's been, quote-unquote, focused, he's a tough cover. He is a tough-ass cover, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and the projections are off the charts now for what Dak Prescott's going to do with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. The Cowboys needed another weapon. They needed another guy. So he helps them out immensely. From the Steelers standpoint, I mean, in a perfect world, you would keep George Pickens and he would be on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, take it a step further. In a perfect world, you would still have Antonio Brown in the golden years of his career right now. But, I mean, that's just the way that things go with these guys.
I don't have the Steelers roster, but word is, I guess they brought over DK Metcalf.
They did, yeah. That was their second-round pick they traded for DK.
Isn't he kind of long in tooth, kind of old? And
He's 28.
Do they have any other thing at receiver?
Oh, man. They got a guy named Calvin Austin who I would really like if he was their fourth receiver, sort of deal.
Yeah.
I would anticipate that they're going to get Aaron Rodgers and they're going to get some Rodgers guys. They're going to get some Alan Lazard action, something like that.
What is, and there may be an obvious answer that I don't know, in the NFL calendar maybe, or maybe it's just his vacation time. What and why is the holdup with Aaron Rodgers deciding what he wants to do? What's the benefit? I mean, he and his agent have got to have all the information they could possibly have from anybody that's flirting with him. What could possibly be the delay other than he doesn't want to commit because he don't want to be told to come into camp? He wants to go play around in Europe for another month or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he went on McAfee and he says, the Pat McAfee show, and he says that he has a bunch of personal things he's dealing with. I don't know what that means, man. I don't know if it feels to me like
we all have a bunch of personal things to deal with.
It feels to me like he just wants to go do ayahuasca and hang out in the closet somewhere. I don't know, man. He probably just doesn't want to go to practice, just doesn't want to go to work yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that's really what it comes down to.
We all got personal. I need to go to the grocery store. I got a bunch of laundry to do. I don't want to put away the dishes. I mean, we all got, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think there's basically two things, and a large part of me thinks, I'm not NFL a scripted guy. Okay, that's not me. I'm not NFL as rigged guy. That's not me. But I do think that there's something to it, and I do think it would be very poetic because the draft just happens to be held in Pittsburgh in 2026, and they just so happen to have Mason Rudolph as their number one quarterback on their roster. And you know what? I think he's perfectly capable of leading this team to the number one overall draft pick in 2026, and they might actually just get it in Pittsburgh. And it could be a scheme from one Archie Manning to get his grandson Arch on a good franchise and not one of these Cleveland Brown-esque franchises. He wants the Pittsburgh Steelers to get the number one pick so that his grandson can go there. Are you connecting these dots?
So how does that play with Rodgers? Maybe Pittsburgh doesn't want him as much as people think they want him.
In this scenario, Rodgers doesn't sign with the Steelers. In this scenario.
So you're saying the Steelers may be saying, I don't want to say throwaway year, but
and Mike Tomlin is as of Greg Popovich's retiring, he is the longest tenured coach in all of American sports. He's never had a losing season, so I think he could afford to have one off year and get a high draft pick. I don't think they've ever picked higher than, I want to say, like 16 since he's been there.
Really?
Yeah, they took Big Ben with pick 11. That was 2004.
Because 16,
and that was
500 record, or around 500 will get you picked at 16.
Yeah,
17, 18.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they haven't picked.
And he's Tomlin's never really gone 4-12, 13, right? I mean, he's
literally never worse than 500.
Yeah,
never worse than 8-8 ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would say that he could afford to have a season like that, and I mean, it just really feels like it's going to be tough. The divisions, the Bengals are going to be back. The Ravens aren't getting any worse. The Browns are the Browns.
The Bills are the Bills.
You're
talking about the division, but I mean, I'm talking about the AFC.
I mean, the greater landscape of the AFC. You got to have if you're going to compete in the AFC, you got to have one of these elite quarterbacks. And I know here in Jacksonville, They potentially may not. They kind of got like a guy that you would think could become that. But the Steelers, I think it's safe to say they definitely do not have that at this current moment.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree. I want to get to, we got 15 minutes or so, I guess, left. I want to get to UF basketball. It's kind of neat, the schedule that they're putting together, which you're supposed to put together. If you think, A, well, number one, you're the defending national champions, and B, you think you're going to be good again. I want to get to that. But, Zach, it would appear we are, what, an hour and 40 minutes into the show, our 2-hour show? It would appear that, Zach, I mean, I don't want to accuse you of anything, but I'm going to accuse you of something. It would appear that you are dancing around the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Zach, I mean,
I don't know where you're going with this.
I would imagine if I didn't direct the show where it needs to go, that you would not direct the show to a baseball series that might have happened in Columbia, South Carolina over the weekend.
Yeah, did you
happen to watch the Gators at your filthy buzzard, South Carolina?
I didn't watch any of that.
Why? I watched every inning, I think.
First of all, it's really hard to find collegiate baseball, even if you do want to watch it. And second of all, I had other things happen, and I just wasn't really necessarily trying to seek that, you know?
Well, since you didn't watch it, let me go over the game.
I'm starting to think that you had me pull in and do the show today just specifically to make sure that you could bring up the baseball series.
No, who would? Well, the Gators got by on Friday night, and then they had to play a double, a little rain and stuff like that. So they ended up playing a doubleheader on Sunday.
Yeah, I know that was very unfortunate. I heard Cardozo and Steve Russell were very upset that they had to spend extra time in Columbia, South Carolina, where they completely roasted our entire fan base. By the way,
why? What did they say?
Oh my God, these guys, man! I had to fire back at them during the commercial break.
There
man.
weren't really many South Carolina fans
that's what they were
in
saying.
the stadium.
They roasted these guys, man. They said that the Gamecock baseball fans, they were really loud and obnoxious back in the day when they were winning, but now they're not showing up at all. Which I get that, okay. These are insults. I think that's real. I can accept this, right? But then my good pal, I want to say, my good pal Jeff Cardoso says that the Carolina fans act like their crap doesn't stink, and I'm just like, I had to push back on this. I did. I said, Jeff, there's no way. I was like, these are three conflicting insults, man. I was like, okay, I think that the Gamecocks, we know who we are, okay, and we know that we are very stinky. I'm very aware that my crap stinks as a Gamecock. All right, so I take huge issue with that insult. That particular insult.
For people that don't know, Gators win game 1 of 3 on the road at South Carolina over the weekend. Saturday was kind of a washout, so they play a doubleheader on Sunday, games 2 and 3. Did you happen to have an idea of what the two combined scores were, games 2 and 3?
Well, it feels like
it's baseball now. This is baseball. It
feels like, based on what I've heard from people around the Gainesville area, that the score was roughly 6 million to 0. But I think it was actually 30-3 or something like that.
30-3. Florida wins game 1.
You know why I knew? Because I've seen it written 1,400 times.
22-3, Zach. They beat your buzzards. Those filthy Gamecock buzzards.
Yeah, look, hey man,
and
you don't need Coach Kevin O'Sullivan to get a win against the Gamecocks, okay? Which, lucky for you guys, we exist in the SEC so that you can actually get a conference win, by the way, okay? Look, I could have coached this victory. All you got to do is say, hey guys, go to the plate, don't swing at anything ever. You will get on base.
Hey, look at it this way, though. The redeeming factor for South Carolina baseball, you play in the same conference as Missouri baseball.
There you go. There are some wins to be.
Missouri's 0-24. You play 30 conference games.
That's pretty tough.
They've got 2 more series, 3 games, and they're probably going to go 0 for 30 in conference play before they go to the SEC tournament. And 2 years ago, Missouri basketball went 0-18. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So that's tough. So it feels like Missouri basketball, LSU men's basketball are both really bad, but the Gamecocks were the only team that was just laughably bad in both of them this year. That's tough.
Now, Missouri did rebound. They had a pretty good basketball season. Hell, Missouri had a win over the national champion Florida Gators.
Right, yeah.
Missouri was pretty good. I think they stunk it up in the tournament. But I expected more. But no, they had a really good team in basketball, so they turned it around in 1 year. I think I think South Carolina baseball will come back. Paul Maneri's in his first year. They fired their coach. What was it, Kingston, I guess, last year. Paul Maneri has a national title when he was at LSU. He did really good things at Notre Dame. He's a little long in tooth, but he came back and he took that South Carolina. South Carolina wants to be good in baseball. That's one of the big keys. They value good baseball.
I thought that they were going to be – well, really, it all comes down to you can pinpoint the moment in which the program started to decline, and it's when Ray Tanner moved from coach to AD.
AD, yeah.
They haven't ever recovered from that.
And, I mean,
now, they can.
For people that don't remember, South Carolina went back-to-back. They won the College World Series.
That's another thing that the crew roasted them for. Apparently, the Gamecocks, we still show the same hype video we've been showing for 15 years that potentially young media art student Zach Rothrock may have potentially helped produce in the year 2013.
And let me guess, you put the song Sandstorm in, right?
You got to do Sandstorm. I've actually thought about
I'm so tired of that damn song.
That's the if I played baseball and I was on the Gamecocks baseball team, no one's done this, by the way. Everybody gets to choose their walk-up song, right? My walk-up song would be Sandstorm. That way, they would just play it from a whole at-bat. Then when I hit the home run, they're still playing it.
There's one other thing in SEC baseball, only one thing more irritating than that damn Sandstorm. You know what the other thing is? If you've ever watched any Vanderbilt baseball from Nashville, they've got the whistle guy.
Yeah. I feel like everybody's got someone like that.
This guy whistles really loud. He does 3 short blasts, and he does it the entire game and drives the TV boys crazy, right? The audio guys crazy. If you're watching the game, and they've done stories on him. He's just a super fan for Vanderbilt.
That's home field advantage.
Do you ever get tired of Sandstorm?
Oh, no, I love Sandstorm. I was part of the choreographed dance in the student section for Sandstorm. Okay, I'm all about Sandstorm.
Well, stand up and show us a little bit.
I can't go.
You
through that right
can't
now.
brag about dance.
Not on the spot.
Zach, do it. Zach.
One day I'll conduct a demonstration, but today is not that day.
Hey, but
you got a Sandstorm.
Say that again.
I said you got a Sandstorm.
Do you know how did that song become? Florida's.
Oh yeah, I mean, actually, I watched a whole thing about it.
How and where and how long ago did that thing get born? Sandstorm became the entrance song for South Carolina football, and it's their theme song.
The entry song was 2001, Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that whole thing.
But right before kickoff, they'll play that Sandstorm.
I want to say it was the game where they beat number 4 Ole Miss in like 2009 or 2010. I think they used it a lot in the second half, and it seemed to like really fire the crowd up, and they made a comeback. And so they did it the next week, and then it just kind of built from there. Sort of thing.
I've only gone to one South Carolina football game in Columbia. This will give you an idea. Ron Zook was the football coach at Florida, so early 2003, 4, 5, right there when he took over for Coach Spurrier. When he left.
The Lou Holtz era.
Yeah, and Florida won in South Carolina. Had a fun weekend. We did some TV and stuff up there. Went to the Cockabooses. They got those. Cockaboose Park where they have the train things. What do they call those?
The Cockaboose.
Yeah, the Cockaboose.
I'm not high dollar enough for the Cockaboose. That's for the rich folk.
Oh, I went. People were inviting me. I went and had fun. But neither team was really good. Florida won the game. But good Lord, did I get tired of hearing.
Oh, yeah, man. You gotta embrace
they played that buzzard song thing. That buzzard.
Yeah.
God, I could wring that buzzard's neck if I could find him.
Yeah, that's fine. You gotta embrace it. It's definitely not as bad as the worst thing in all of sports. I think to me is the Mississippi State cowbells.
I love the cowbells.
Oh my God, no, man! I would never play there.
I've never been to a game, Mississippi State game with the cowbells. Now they've come to Gainesville and they've snuck them in some, but that is a great Southern football tradition, though. I love the cowbell.
That should be banned. That should not be allowed.
Yeah.
I would throw it out.
They are loud, man, when you're watching.
Oh, my God.
Aren't they?
Yeah. You can hear on TV they're too loud.
And, there's a lot of talk. There are rules in the book that say you can't have noisemakers and, and that's an artificial noisemaker. But it was so much of the game. The SEC, I guess, maybe petitioned, and theoretically, and they do a pretty good job. They let them keep the cowbells as long as they don't ring them when the team is out the line of scrimmage. You can ring like a son of a gun. Hey, I know we only got a few minutes. That
Yeah.
gets me to thinking something. And I'm so old, I go through a bunch of different iterations of sports, right? I'm so old. Zach, I don't think you are old enough to remember this. There was a point, and it was really only college football, and I guess because you got bands and they have great fan sections and all. I think college football crowds are better than NFL crowds. They get really
by and
stirred up.
large, for sure.
There was a long period where you would have a big game, right? A big college rivalry game, packed house, 90,000, 80,000 fans, bands. You would have the visiting team have the football, and generally deep in their end of the field. Not necessarily midfield, but deep, where you're really next to the crowd. The crowd's really close. You're on the 5-yard line, 10-yard line. And the visiting team would go to the line of scrimmage, and the quarterback would kind of point to his ears and look back at the white hat.
Oh, yeah.
And there would be many, and people my age remember this. The official would warn the home crowd, and there were times they would throw a penalty. Nowadays, you can be as loud as you want, right? They would say you got.
I didn't know that was ever a thing.
Yeah, you got to. Oh, it was enforced a lot, and they would make an announcement. This is a first warning. You got to let the opposing offense, the visiting offense, would have to be given a chance to not get their calls drowned out.
There's no way they could police that today. I mean, the home team would just lose every time.
It was a thing. It was people remember it. It was a real thing. I remember watching, and you'd get frustrated because the ref, the quarterback would walk up and start calling signals, and he'd turn around and go, "Hey, my guys can't hear," and they would say, "Hey, you got to be quiet, or we're going to throw a penalty."
I thought the controversy here would be if I was quarterback, I would just act like I can't hear every time. They're way too loud, man. I can't hear.
And I guess maybe the white hat did have some discretion because he was standing there and go, "Hey, man, that's not really loud."
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
You know
what are you talking about?
You know what else? Are there any other college football? I guess trying to think other. Like I said, the cowbell is a foreign object making noise.
Yeah, someone saw those vuvuzelas from the.
Oh, remember how
World
bad
Cup.
that was?
Yeah, they're literally on the same level to me. They're not much different.
Yeah.
There's no way they should do the cowbell.
Yeah.
No, I can't. I literally can't think of another team that does some. That's why I feel like it's so crazy that Mississippi State's allowed to do that. I don't think anyone else does that.
Yeah, I'll tell you though, man. I get why. The NFL doesn't have bands. Like college football, they all have a band, and a lot of times big games, the other team brings their band and just adds to the atmosphere. The main reason the NFL, I guess the Redskins used to have a band. Do they still have a band? I think they're like the only team that ever had a band, a little pep band. And they may not have. You know why there's no bands in the NFL, right?
Why is that? I think.
Well, the NFL owners, the last thing they're going to do is say, we're going to hold 250 seats that nobody pays for. Obviously.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
I think the Washington Commanders are the one team that does.
Or the Redskins, Commanders.
Yeah. The Skins,
They had one. I don't know if they
never brought it back.
Kind of a little pep band. Yeah. But no, the NFL owners are going to go, we ain't about to block off 300 non-paying seats for a band. Are you kidding me?
No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. And Jacksonville's got a little drum line, but they don't take seats though.
No. We didn't get to this, but I'm going to run through it real quick. We may get it tomorrow. UF basketball putting their schedule together. As of right now, Florida would play number 2 ranked UConn, number 10 Arkansas, number 11 Kentucky, number 12 Arizona, number 15 Auburn, number 20 Tennessee, and number 24 Alabama. And that's all subject to change, but that's a way early. How about Florida? UConn and Arizona, 2 of their early. The UConn game, I want to say that's the Arizona game, that'll be Florida's first game as the defending national champions. That's like November 3rd. Boy, the basketball season has crept back and back. Remember, basketball would start maybe Thanksgiving weekend? Mm-hmm. Florida will open up November 3rd, I saw, in college basketball.
But they're adding more games, too.
Yeah, they add more games.
Yeah, so that's why. But there's some haymakers early on. I guess in the basketball season, you can afford to get a couple of losses, but it'll be a good measurement test early.
It is, and the problem with those great haymaker games, as you said, the November, December, they get so buried. There are times
Yeah.
people look up and go, damn, I didn't even know. What do you mean Louisville and Kentucky played December 5th? I
The game came and gone. Didn't even see it.
Yeah, Florida. That Florida UConn game will be fun, though. Remember how ugly it got with Danny Hurley and the cussing and
Oh yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that?
yeah. At the end of the game.
that'll be fun. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks to Zach Rothrock for producing and being a good sport as always. Want to thank our other guests today. Obviously, Dr. Aaron Bates from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and our resident comedian Mike Freed. He joins us about once a week, and we appreciate his work here on the show. That'll do it. We'll get together tomorrow live from the patio at Slider's Oyster Bar for the next edition of the Young and Norvelle Show.
Finally, a family atmosphere, kid-friendly restaurant with a real sports bar feel. Rick's Jack's Beach features all of that and a large, climate-controlled covered patio with misting fans and heaters for all seasons. Mix in an extremely diverse menu that features the most quality and affordable steak at the beach, and there's no reason not to enjoy your next lunch, dinner, happy hour, or big sporting event at Rick's Jack's Beach, 300 2nd Street North in Jacksonville Beach. See you at Rick's Jack's Beach.
For over 20 years, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists has been providing the highest level of orthopedic and spine care to patients throughout Northeast Florida. Now, we're making that same great care even more convenient with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Direct, a walk-in clinic where you can be seen for pain or injuries with no appointment needed. Staffed by orthopedic physicians and specialists, we offer everything from diagnosis and treatment to imaging and bracing, all with no appointment needed. For more information, hours, and locations, visit our website.
You really got to hand it to him. Hold on.
The previous play is under further review.
I'm not sure what he could review, but okay. Sure has been a while. Dine in at Hurricane Grill and Wings for the football season. Well, there he is. Oh, what is that?
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms, whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV. You can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
Summertime means sizzling sales at Nimnick Buick GMC. The #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville has lots of inventory to choose from with their best price guarantee. Nimnick never charges above MSRP. You can save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierras or get rates as low as 1.9%.
You know, I'm a truck guy. GMC Sierra, my trim level is an SLT. This one's an Elevation. Pretty good looking color as well. So here at Nimnick Buick GMC, you have a lot to pick from. My father-in-law, he drives this, an Enclave, so I feel like that GMC in the family. 2025 is coming around the corner, which means it's almost time to close out those 2024s this summer.
You can schedule a test drive at NimnickBuickGMC.com. And while you're there, check your trade value and customize your payment options. Nimnick is there for you, even on Sundays. Visit the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.